If you're looking for a free blueprint that you can use to start printing money once you get your box truck, this is the video that you want to watch until the very end. I want you to grab a pen or a pencil, a notebook or notepad, and pay very close attention to every detail of this video. With the information I'm about to share with you, I've been able to build an income stream that has allowed me to travel when I want to, work when I feel like working, and not have to worry about someone telling me I have to clean my desk off. They no longer need my services. So if any of this sounds good to you, let's get down to business. First things first, I will go over to myfico.com and check all three of my credit scores: Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian. I need to know where I stand in terms of funding my business if I intend to use other people's money. If my credit isn't looking good, I'm grabbing an account with smartcredit.com, period. By far the best all-in-one platform to help you understand what's going on with your credit, money, and solutions that you can apply to put you back on track. They have some amazing features such as Score Boost, know how much to pay and when with a strategic plan to get your best credit score. You can also report inaccurate information directly with your credit scores within the platform. Stop data traffickers from sharing or selling your information with Privacy Master at the click of a button. This platform is jam-packed with features, but what's even better is my good friends over at Smart Credit have allowed me to give you guys a $1 7-day trial using my link below in the description box. Be sure to grab an account before they end this offer. All right, listen, if you have cash, then you should know what your budget is for starting up your business. Next, I'm going over to the Facebook Marketplace to see if I can track down a unit. Something I would do differently this time around is do a search for a mobile diesel mechanic to have on standby to check the truck out for me if I'm not mechanically inclined. If I can't find a diesel mechanic, at minimum, I'm bringing with me a scan tool to run a check on the engine to make sure there aren't any serious codes existing on the truck. That's a big gem I just gave y'all, so take a second and smash that like button. All right, are we good? All right, thanks, let's go. Okay, so a big misconception that a lot of people have is that just because a truck is listed on the marketplace, it means that the truck is run down or has multiple issues. This is not always the case. My first truck was a 2006 International DT466 with 500,000 miles on the dash, but was ran in a fleet with the US Post Office, and once they hit a certain amount of miles, they sell them off, and I became the new owner. You can also run into people that are exiting the industry and selling off their equipment. This happens all the time. I get the emails. Now, the only issue I ran into with my 2006 prior to putting a driver in the truck was the ignition switch needed to be replaced because it was worn. So every now and again, it wouldn't crank because it was really, it was janky. But I got it fixed and that solved the problem. Other than that, the truck was in solid condition. What's even more amazing is that I sold that truck and seen it 3 years later, leaving an Amazon distribution center in Georgia, still ticking and making somebody some money. Now, another alternative route I could take is commercial auto auctions like Ritchie Brothers or Taylor and Martin. I've had course members who've had great success buying their first truck at these locations without any issues. High mileage may scare the crap out of a lot of people, so I get the hesitation. We often compare high mileage to our personal vehicles and let high miles scare us, but commercial trucks are made for the highway and made to be driven, and at some point, any vehicle would need to be serviced. I have a partner who keeps his truck well maintained and still whistling down the interstate with over 800,000 miles on the dash. At the end of the day, a well-maintained vehicle is what we are looking for to jumpstart the empire. Just to piggyback off that, I also met another gentleman from Mexico at an Amazon who purchased his truck with 400,000 miles on the dash, put an additional 400,000 on top of that, and made more than enough money to replace that engine with a newer engine for $13,000 with an unlimited mile warranty on the motor. Hey, sometimes you have to do what works for you. Now, remember the title of the video says, if I was starting a new box truck business from scratch. So you may not start this way, or maybe you'll take one or two methods from this video and apply them to your startup process. If that's a deal, then let's continue. Sometimes you can do a lot with a little, so it would be wise to really plan out your execution strategy. Tracking down a truck. What size are we starting off with to begin? I personally started with a non-CDL 26-foot box truck. Gross vehicle weight is under 26,000 pounds, so we do not need a CDL to operate this vehicle. If you're looking at a box truck with a gross vehicle weight of 33,000 gross vehicle weight, you will need a CDL to operate it. So don't make this mistake if you don't have a commercial driver's license. Now, several people started with a 16-foot box truck. I've seen with my own eyes that it's absolutely possible to book cube box truck loads with Amazon Relay in a 16-foot box truck. This is a filter I kept unchecked because it didn't really apply to the equipment that I own. I'd highly recommend that truck be at least dock height with the lift gate, or it will literally feel like you are going down in the dungeon to load your truck. And I've seen a driver having to do just that to make it work in a 16-footer. It reminded me of my short box dimensions on my first purchase. Also keep in mind that your authority has to be active at least 180 days before Amazon will let your company on board with them to move their freight. Now, I'm going to assume that you have already set up your company LLC, have the proper documentation completed for your business to operate moving freight. And if you haven't set that up, I'll drop a video card above to help walk you through that process. So let's assume we have our truck and it's actually time to start looking into work. What are our options? Option one is I can travel over to a site like Indeed.com to find local contractor work. In most cities, companies are posting their contractor freight opportunities for 26-foot box truck owner operators. This is what I call the local freight strategy. Keep the search engine simple, such as 26-foot box truck contracts. This process can also be repeated on a site like Craigslist. From there, you can hit a quick Google search and apply the same method for your local area. And if you're really serious about finding dedicated freight, take a look around your local area at every company with a dock door and go introduce yourself and your company. I met a guy at the Match Trucking event who built an $8 million a year business using just that strategy alone. A few more options that can help move your truck, even as a new authority that I get notifications almost daily for loads, are Curry Driver, American Expediting, and Freight. They have freight for box trucks, sprinter vans, cargo vans, and having a new authority isn't a big deal for them. So download these apps, visit their websites, and get set up with them ASAP. Now, most of you guys know my number one go-to load board that I get a majority of my OTR, local and regional loads from is the DAT load board. I personally use the DAT1 Select subscription plan. This gives me live load board results, market conditions, exact load match alarms, 15-day average lane rates, and multiple searches and filtering options. I can even post my truck's availability with my average rate per mile to let brokers know in advance that I'm not the cheap guy to move your freight. This is a new feature just recently added to DAT. Links will be down below in my description box. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I like to get paid fast. So for that convenience, I use OTR Solutions for factoring all of my factorable loads. This assures me that once I complete a load, I get paid within 24 to 48 hours after uploading all necessary documents such as rate confirmation, load ID number, my bill of lading, also known as your POD, to their portal. This literally takes less than 10 minutes and I'm all set up to get paid for all approved broker loads that I've completed. And to put the icing on the cake, OTR doesn't breathe down your neck to push you to factor a minimum amount of loads per month. In fact, you aren't forced to factor every single load with them ever. This is why I chose OTR as my factoring company. And until you can wait 21 to 30 days for payment to run your business, they can make great business partners to jumpstart your empire. Be sure to visit my link down below in the description box to get set up with OTR Solutions. Okay, so here's a word of caution. As you start putting all of this information together, you're gonna probably get distracted by going to watch other videos telling you what worked for them and why they quit doing the box truck business. Don't let this get your wires crossed up. Until you see trucks no longer selling, freight no longer being moved up and down the interstate, millions of shippers no longer shipping goods across the country, stay focused with your horse blinders on and eliminate all distractions. YouTube and social media can be a very entertaining place that can consume hours of your time, or it can be used as an educational platform that can change the trajectory of your financial future like it has done for me and so many others. Listen up, I just armed you with a very light, easy to follow blueprint that you can use to go out here and start applying the information today and start making money the moment your authority goes active. You don't have to worry about getting turned down by brokers because of the age of your operating authority. I just literally handed you a license to print money like the big boys do in Washington. At the end of the day, Information is just information. It's applying the information that separates the winners from the whiners. It's now in your hands. What are you going to do with it? If you haven't set up your company authority, you can watch this video for a full walkthrough on how to get that set up. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's eat, people.